Guys, welcome back to the weekend stock review. We're going to go over some stocks. We're going to break down QQQ, SPY, SMH, and then we're going to break down MAG 7, and then we will get into some individual stocks here. So looking at it here, it's clear as day. We finally had that healthy pullback that we've been talking about. Looking at the 5-year chart, just so you can see, this is where QQQ has been trading the last couple of years. It has been trading at the top of this channel, and we finally had some resistance right up here, pulling back. I do believe that this should not be something you are stressing over here, because if we pull back, these are buying opportunities. QQQ overall, market headlines acting like the stock market's crashing, when in reality it pulled back 5%. That's not a big pullback. If we get a pullback down to this yellow line around 13-14%, then I will say, okay, excellent, we have another buying opportunity. I have made some purchases in my YouTube portfolio. You can check that out on my YouTube channel under the membership tabs, where that video will be available for 2 weeks. Then it'll be posted for the public. So looking at Qs, we're pulling back. Our entries that we are looking for to dollar cost average in, or day trade specifically, will be right at this $585 level. You do have clear levels of resistance that have came in. Moving over to the SPY, and it's going to get much more interesting when we break down the SPY, because they were buying opportunities. Looking at SPY, we pulled back another 3%, 689, back down to 660. Nothing to really worry about in my eyes. If you're looking for a short position, I could understand this move. It has to reject the $675, but let's give it time. There are some individual stocks that are worth watching and potentially adding to your portfolio. SMH, the semiconductor ETF, that holds NVIDIA and Broadcom and all those big guys, Intel. We had a nice little pullback from 372 down to 348. This is a little more volatile because it's specifically semiconductors within it. If you follow my video that I made on FSELX, I'll post that in the video for you guys. You guys definitely check that video out. It's something to hold long term. Pulled back 10%. That's much bigger than QQQ and SPY. Not as big of a deal. All good. If we pull back to 320, I would expect those to be bought. Let's break down NVIDIA stock. Breaking down NVIDIA stock. NVIDIA was interesting because NVIDIA in the last basically 3 months has moved up a lot. When you look at it, it moved up from 165 all the way up to 212. Now what happened here is we had a nice healthy pullback, and it's starting to reclaim this 185 level. But it had found nice support around $180 per share. What I'm looking for here now is, now that we can see that we are trading with this within the zone of 180 to 195, I definitely would be looking for purchases. If we get another pullback to retest 180, you can see that you've had multiple areas of support. Look for that pop around 180. Look for rejection at the 195 level. Something that I would pay attention to. Looking at Apple stock, it is not pulling back. Apple stock is going to the moon. Looking at Apple here, we went all the way up from 277, pulled back to 245. I would believe that anything in the middle of the channel around 250 is going to be getting bought up on this. Let's go over Meta stock. This is a stock that I have made a purchase this week. I have bought some shares of Meta. I'm very happy about this purchase. Let's just look at reality here on the last 5 years for Meta. Meta has been on this uptrend ever since it was $91. And I know you're thinking, wow, that's crazy. You're happy you bought around $600 per share. And the reason is I'm looking at a big cap company that is in AI, Instagram, all of their ad companies. They are basically making a ton of money, Meta platforms. And for me, this is an easy buying opportunity that I can make a swing trade on this. Looking at, we had $795, pulled back all the way to $600, basically almost a 23 to 24% pullback. For me, this is a no-brainer. I was watching this like a hawk. If you are part of the WAP group, you know that I've been watching Meta. We called it out around $600 per share. Ever since their earnings that they pulled out, I was talking about how this gap fill is going to have to get filled. And it's clear. I mean, $750, it pulled back right here. I do believe this zone will eventually be retested. So that's my thought process with this trade, is we have this gap fill right here. And I purchased shares around $604 to $605 per share. So for me, I feel like I'm very close to the bottom if this is it. Easy to follow stop losses. when you have defined levels, and that's what the WAP is for. You can see we had clear resistance levels at 595. Boom, boom, boom. All multiple areas of resistance right there turning into support. Now, what am I looking for? I am up 15 points on this trade so far. We added them to the long-term portfolio. We're not gonna sell these right away. I want to see if we can get a move back up to at least $680 per share. It's a 12% move. Ideally, I would like to see a move back up to $708, which would be the previous resistance point here. So I think Meta, definitely interesting purchase. I'm very happy buying these shares down here. We're going to continue to hold, and let's see where it goes from there. Let's break down the next stock, Microsoft. I added to Microsoft in the long-term portfolio. I think this is just a no-brainer. Look at the 5-year chart. Look at this in the last 2 to 3 years. It has been trading in this area right here. Finally, $550 was a line in the sand for Microsoft pulling back, and nothing wrong with that. What I really want is I want pullbacks to $450. And that number isn't just made up. The reason I like 450 is because it trades in the middle of the yellow line, and Microsoft seems to have a support level in the middle of the trend line. Right now, I picked up some shares around $497 per share. I am okay with that after a pullback from 553 there to 495. That's a 10% pullback, adding them to the long-term portfolio, accumulating some shares, not a big position, but just enough. And then right here, a pullback, if we can get it to 450, 460 would be very interesting, 8 to 9% pullback. The reason I started purchasing at 497, I just was thinking, when is Microsoft pull back 10% in less than a week? I'm going to scoop up some shares. If it does pull back more, I save some reserves, some ammo for $450. Holding them long term, not a problem with me. Let's go over Tesla stock. Watching Tesla stock, $475 per share. I think it's important to note that Tesla did have resistance here at $488, and then it did confirm this lower low here at $474. Don't think that Tesla cannot have big swings. Tesla can easily have monster swings, and if you're looking for an area that at least that I'm going to be potentially thinking about adding, but this is thinking a little more longer term here, $350 per share is something that I'm going to be watching here. I do see that we have basically no buyers from 450 up to 488, looking right here at this thin wick candle. And now moving over here, we have this monstrous red candle coming in. And if this level breaks, $417 per share, if this breaks to the downside, the shorts are going to love this. Look for the retest, 416, 417, and then move further back down to $370 per share. That is basically what I'll be looking for when it comes to Tesla. Now, I like Tesla in the long term. I'm biased. I like the company. I like the cars. I like what they're doing with energy. I think they're doing a lot of stuff that is underrated. And if you really look at the earnings of the company, you'll see the moves that they are making. So it's definitely something to think about. Am I adding shares here? No. I have a $220 cost basis. I'm going to continue watching, but I will be potentially scooping in to buy some shares if it does pull back to $370. That is just my recommendation here. Bros stock. Bros stock is a stock that we trade in the WAP together. We all bought these shares. If you're part of the WAP, you know we bought these shares around $48. Had a nice move up to $60. Made some profit on that. With the recent earnings, I really believe it's just market sentiment, to be honest. It pulled all the way back from $60 down to $51. And now it is finding support at this 51 to 50.75 range. Very interesting. Let's see, can it reclaim and get above $55 per share? Something I will be watching. Looking at BMNR stock, there has been news that some of the big corporations are adding BMNR to their portfolio. If you're part of the WAP, you'll know that we talk about this stock all the time. This is a very interesting stock. It's getting pullbacks here. It's very correlated with Tom Lee and Ethereum. And now we are starting to see a support level at this $35 range. Let's see, can we reclaim, hold $40 per share, or is this going to continue being a downside play? It's something that we will have to continue to monitor. I want to bring in Duolingo. I really think you should consider Duolingo, at least even if it was a small portion of your portfolio. You should really just start looking at it and considering it, because look at this stock. 2021 used to be $60. It blasted up to $544 per share. And then what happened after that? It sold off massively. So we went up 600%. And then I feel bad for the guy that bought at 544. It's pulled back to $200 per share, down 65%. If you actually look at the numbers of Duolingo and they just think it's the threat of AI is going to take and get rid of this company, I highly doubt that. But if you look at overall the statistics here, this company is finding support. And looking back all the way at the 5-day, it went all the way down to $182 per share. There is a massive gap fill that needs to be filled. It eventually will, most likely, unless the company goes out of business, which I highly doubt. If you actually look at their earnings call, you'll see this 26% pullback is offering a potential huge opportunity for those that are brave enough to buy Duolingo. So give me an idea. Are you buying this stock? Oracle stock, I've been posting on my Twitter page. You will see on X that I've been posting about them. Is it time to buy at 260, time to buy at 270, time to buy at 240? This stock is continuously getting obliterated. It finally found its footing a little bit around $232 per share. It is still in a downtrend. There is no signs of upside. Let's be realistic about this. If you draw a trend line, the cheap can get cheaper. You have to be careful with this. It is still rejecting right here from 322 to 285 down to $245 per share. Just be cautious. I am looking to purchase some shares. I'm hoping we get a little further pullback. My magic number, I was waiting. I will tell you if you join the WAP. I'm not going to bring it down, but you can kind of see looking at these levels where I'm going to be potentially adding some shares of Oracle stock. Take a look right there, guys. Next, let's break down DraftKings. DraftKings is an interesting stock. They had earnings. It worked out well for them. They went from $26 all the way back up to $30 per share. I definitely put this stock on your radar. Year to date, it is trading in this bubble. It is trading right in this trading zone from $26 all the way up to $50 per share. Easy way to follow a risk management here is you could be buying shares and cutting your loss at these lows for a potential move up 60% back to all-time highs at $50 per share. Definitely something to look into. I would be interested in that as well. Next stock I want to review is Hims and Hers. If you're looking at Hims and Hers, we had a pullback to $39 per share. Now, what are we going to do? Let's see, can we hold this position at 39? If it breaks 39, then it is in trouble. Intel stock, there were talks that Tesla, Elon Musk mentioned this on one of his earnings calls, talking about potentially teaming up with Intel. That is huge news. If Intel is going to get together and produce chips for Tesla, that is going to be a monster catalyst. It already popped up 4 or 5% just on that news alone. But what do you think is going to happen if it actually happens? The stock is going to move up at least 10-15%. Now, I hate calling out Intel at $38 because you guys remember, if you remember my YouTube channel, we were talking about Intel when it was $18 to $19 per share. It was sitting down here. Nobody wanted to touch this with a 10-foot pole. The buyers that came in at $18 per share, they are reaping the rewards. Good for them. I just want to give them a little credit to buy during all that fear. They're up over 100%, sitting pretty with this potential move right here. So I think this is something you need to watch. Intel, am I going to buy it right now? No. But am I aware of that possible news of Elon Musk? Yes. There is support around $332 per share. I'm sorry, $32 per share. If we get a move to $32 per share, I will be interested. That is something that I heavily am watching. Now, obviously, that buy is probably not coming anytime soon, especially if we get some market strength now that we finally had a nice flushing out of the bulls. We had a nice little pullback, but you would need a 13% pullback on Intel for that to happen. Would be interesting play. Guys, I just want to bring up this ETF for you guys. It's a little bonus. I personally hold this in one of my retirement accounts, FTech, the Fidelity MSCI Information Tech ETF. Guys, I don't get any kickback for this. This is just me thinking it's a very good ETF. I'm holding it long term. It's a tech company. It's a tech ETF, holds all tech companies. NVIDIA is a large percentage of it. So if you're looking at a stock like NVIDIA and you're afraid to buy NVIDIA at $188 per share, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. You want a little less risk? You can buy ETFs that hold NVIDIA. Because year to date, NVIDIA used to be $90 per share. It's up to $188. So if you're interested, you could always look at FTech. I have a video on that as well. Go through my YouTube channel, type in FTech. It'll be right there for you. And I'll even post it in the link in the description below for you guys. Going over NVIDIA, looking at NVIDIA here, $180 per share. That is the line in the sand right now. Right now, we are holding this level. It has had multiple spots that it is bouncing off of. Yes, it's not perfect. You have $177 to $180 per share. But in my eyes, if $180 breaks, it's going to start heading to the downside. How many times are we going to retest this support level at $180 before it fails? If it does fail and $180 cannot hold, your next level is going to be $168. But for now, let's go back to reality, and we are trading within $180 to $195. This is the range you are trading in. When you're trading NVIDIA, you should just keep those range levels in mind, and that is how you follow your stop loss if you're going to be buying them.